The two-seat J-20S stealth fighter is one of the most heavily publicized air platforms to emerge from China's military aviation sector in recent years, yet its real-world effectiveness remains questionable when examined critically. Unlike previous programs that gradually transitioned from prototype to mass deployment, the J-20S has been introduced in a highly orchestrated, politically timed manner, raising doubts about whether its capabilities match the bold claims made by state-controlled media and government-aligned defense analysts. It is promoted as the first operational twin-seat stealth fighter in the world, a claim meant to project innovation and technological superiority. However, the strategic, technical, and operational facts surrounding this aircraft point to an entirely different reality, one of compromise, rushed execution, and over-reliance on perception management rather than verifiable battlefield functionality. From a design perspective, the J-20S is a clear deviation from the original single-seat configuration of the J-20 series. The addition of a second cockpit fundamentally alters the aircraft's stealth profile, which is one of the most critical attributes of any fifth-generation fighter. The J-20 was designed with blended body lines, tight shaping, and a minimized canopy to reduce radar cross-section. Adding a second seat enlarges the canopy and forward fuselage, increasing radar signature and possibly introducing aerodynamic inefficiencies. These changes directly contradict the core engineering logic behind stealth airframes. Even with special coatings or angular design tweaks, the physical presence of a larger canopy and second cockpit creates more surfaces for radar waves to bounce off, degrading the aircraft's ability to remain undetected in hostile airspace. Despite these drawbacks, the J-20S has been heavily promoted as a next-generation platform capable of executing complex missions such as real-time aerial coordination, drone command, and electronic battlespace management. According to claims circulating in Chinese defense circles, the second seat is intended for a mission systems officer who would control unmanned assets and manage sensor fusion tasks in high-intensity conflict zones. However, these capabilities have not been demonstrated in any verifiable exercise, simulation, or testing scenario. No publicly released flight test reports, mission rehearsal data, or pilot interface demonstrations have been made available. Instead, the platform's capabilities are presented through still images, ambiguous media statements, and controlled leaks on Chinese social media platforms. This lack of technical evidence raises serious doubts about whether the touted features exist beyond the conceptual stage. The timeline of the J-20S's development is also indicative of a program moving faster in public relations than in real technical progress. The first known prototype was seen undergoing taxi tests in 2021, with its first flight occurring shortly thereafter. Since then, only a small number of additional units have been sighted, by most open-source counts, between 5 and 7 aircraft as of mid-2025. The low production volume, along with the lack of documentation showing the aircraft being incorporated into multi-aircraft combat exercises, suggests that the platform is still in early experimental deployment. Despite this, recent imagery shows the J-20S bearing 5-digit serial numbers associated with active combat brigades, specifically the 172nd Air Brigade. This is a tactic previously used in other programs where units in testing are painted with combat markings to artificially inflate the appearance of readiness and scale. The use of such markings is part of a broader strategy of militarized image projection. The rollout of the J-20S has been timed to align with significant historical anniversaries, particularly China's planned celebrations for the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II in September 2025. This timing is not coincidental. It reflects China's long-standing practice of aligning military unveilings with political milestones to boost domestic nationalism and signal military advancement to external observers. In this context, the J-20S is being used more as a political symbol than as a functional asset. Its presence in parades or commemorative flyovers may create the illusion of operational integration, but without data, drills, or deployments to support it, such appearances serve only propaganda objectives. Another area of concern is the aircraft's internal systems. The J-20S is rumored to house an advanced radar system in its newly shaped nose cone, possibly using gallium nitride (GaN) technology. GaN-based radars offer theoretical advantages such as improved heat tolerance, greater power output, and smaller component size. However, these advantages only matter if paired with a software and sensor architecture capable of managing complex battle environments. There is no evidence that the J-20S possesses a fully developed battle management system or AI-driven interface required to coordinate multiple assets in real time. Without these supporting technologies, the benefits of a second crew member are minimal, and the aircraft becomes a heavier, less stealthy version of its predecessor, offering little new combat utility. The propulsion system used in the J-20S also adds uncertainty. The aircraft is powered by the WS-10C engine, a Chinese-built turbofan that represents an incremental improvement over earlier versions but is still unproven in high-stress combat environments. The additional weight and drag of the two-seat configuration put more pressure on the engine, raising questions about sustained performance, range, and supercruise capabilities. China has long struggled with indigenous engine development, and while progress has been made, no credible evidence suggests that the WS-10C can reliably power a large stealth fighter to its intended operational performance in all conditions. Engine reliability, maintenance intervals, and performance metrics remain undisclosed, further complicating independent assessments. Training and doctrine integration are also unresolved issues. Introducing a two-seat stealth platform requires new tactics, training pipelines, and operational planning. There is no open-source information indicating that the PLAAF has revised its flight training syllabi, command protocols, or joint force coordination doctrines to accommodate the J-20S. The absence of simulator training footage, doctrinal manuals, or large-scale training exercises involving this aircraft suggests that its role is not yet clearly defined within the broader structure of China's air combat forces. Without proper integration into tactics, techniques, and procedures, the J-20S risks becoming an orphaned capability, visually impressive but disconnected from real-world battlefield operations. Even the most basic performance characteristics of the J-20S remain undisclosed. Key parameters such as radar range, sensor fusion capabilities, data processing throughput, and cockpit workload management are unknown. There have been no technical disclosures from credible third-party sources, no leaks from military pilots or ground crews, and no official white papers outlining the aircraft's combat role. In contrast, most high-end platforms developed by leading air powers eventually enter open testing environments or multinational exercises, providing at least partial data on performance. The complete information, lockdown surrounding the J-20S suggests that the actual capabilities of the platform may fall far short of the narrative China has constructed. The J-20S therefore represents a case of strategic misdirection. Rather than delivering a tangible leap in operational capability, it serves as a carefully packaged tool of psychological influence, designed to impress domestic audiences and intimidate external observers. Its existence signals technological ambition but also reveals institutional vulnerabilities, namely, a persistent reliance on image-making over combat validation, and a political culture that rewards perception of progress over actual warfighting effectiveness. As a result, while the J-20S may occupy headlines and ceremonial flyovers, it remains fundamentally unproven, structurally compromised, and strategically overstated. Its long-term value in real conflict scenarios is questionable, and its short-term prominence appears driven more by propaganda goals than military necessity.